By the end of this video, you should be able to make 3 shapes of earring threaders. First is the snail shapes. The second one is the star shapes. And the third one is the extra large heart shape. The materials that we need for these projects are the hammers, and the cutter, and a couple of pliers, and also the anvil. For the star shape and the snail, we need 10 centimeters of 20 gauge wire. And for the heart, we need I think 17 centimeter of 18 gauge. You can use sterling silver wire, which I will use that, but also you can use any Goldfilled wire, and I've never tried the copper wire, but it might help. This is the second part of the tutorials on how to make hoop threader earrings. For you who haven't watched the first part, I would recommend you to watch it. I should post the link somewhere here in the screen. Without further ado, let's get to work.
Let's attack the first shape, the snail. This earring is an existing item in my Etsy store. I had made these in 21 gauge and felt like they are too thin, so I would like to refresh by making it in 20 gauge. This is 10 centimeter at length, and I'm going to file it first with the needle file. Other option is to shave off the pointy edge by sanding it with a lower grade sandpaper. Once that it is softer to the touch, then I'm going to fork this wire using 3 steps pliers. I'm going to use the largest diameters and fork the wire into a circle shape. Slowly, I am overlapping. And then I move into the smaller diameter, and I'm taking one end, and again I fork the wire into the shape of the smaller circle. I'm adjusting while I bend. Okay, this looks quite good for the halfway step. Now I take a smaller pair of 3 steps pliers. For the reference, the smallest diameter of these pliers is around 7 millimeters, and the largest diameters is around 10 millimeters, which is 1 centimeter. So I'm taking the largest diameter first, and I'm going to continue the inside spiral and coil it into a smaller circle. The technique is actually to coil with the pliers on one hand and push with the other hand, like as if you are massaging the wire. My old piece have a very small inner coil, so I'm trying to imitate the shape by taking the smallest inner circle, and I'm using the smallest diameter and slowly working my way out. the key element to make a beautiful snail shape. One is to make sure that the distance of the coil strand is harmonious. And also, if you are afraid to mess it up, you can try to draw the shape first on the paper, just like what I did with the hexagonal shape on the part 1 of this series. You can click on the thumbnail if you are interested. I'm adjusting the shape, but I feel like I'm quite happy with this. The inner is not as small as the first version, but I really don't mind. Next, we want to harden the wire by hammering. I am using a cross-pin frets hammer for this work. So hold the shape close to the anvil and hammer slowly. You don't need to do it too hard since it is only 20 gauge wire. Now I have done hammering on the face. As you can see that it is raised a little bit because of the tension given by the repetitive hammering. It's no problem. So what you need to do is to use the wooden or rawhide mallet to hammer it flat. I'm putting my hand to keep the earrings closer to the anvil while hammering. These mallets will harden the wire without leaving any marks. If you don't want to have texture on your threader hoops, you're welcome to skip the metal hammer and use the mallet hammering instead. Let's take a look of the comparison of the first generation and the last one. While the old one has a perfect diameter, the new one has a sturdier look to it and more harmonious in shape. I don't regret my decision. Well, okay, next. The shape is the star shape. This piece is also available on my Etsy store in sterling silver, yellow Goldfilled, and rose Goldfilled. They're pretty as it is, so I don't want to change the specifics. I would like to just share my technique here with you. Alright, like mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm cutting 20 gauge of wire of 10 centimeter at length. If last time I'm shaving off the edge using the needle file, right now I'm going to use the 220 grit sandpaper to do the job. Using a Sharpie, I'm marking 1 centimeter segments of this wire. Given that the length of the wire is 10 centimeter, so there will be a total of 10 segments.
Okay.
Now I'm grabbing my flat nose pliers and apply a 30-degree bend at the mark point. Actually, I kinda changed my mind. Let's just bend zigzag first. Zigzag first. And then I will shape the star later. Okay, now that I have acquired these asymmetrical zigzags, I will work on the more meticulous shaping. I slowly bend the inner corner into 30-degree bend, and the outer, it has to be more than 90 degrees. It also helps if you maybe draw the piece first, or also if you visualize the end shape in your mind, it also helps.
Almost get it there. Even for me,
Okay,
to adjust
now
that stuff.
I am just making a simple adjustment with the flat nose
Yeah,
pliers.
it's wonky.
Some of the sides might be wonky, so I'm
The most
straightening
important
it
thing is
using
making
the same
decision
pliers.
to fork your wire. It's not always perfect. Okay, if there are segments that are a little bit longer than the others, then you can kind of um, put the trick. For example, here I'll show you this part is short. So what I can do is I can just take a little bit here, pull it a little bit, and then can just bend. Okay, I'm pretty happy with my shape right now. Now it's time for hammering.
The same step like the previous one is to hammer the piece in order to harden them. Using my two fingers, I'm holding the piece close to the anvil to lock the piece so it would not warp upward too much. Also, another trick is to hammer it moderately. Make sure that I hammer all the surface to get a pretty hammering texture. If you don't want to add a texture and would like to leave the wire as is, then you can just hammer this using a non-marking hammer, such as rubber, wooden, or rawhide mallet. And since they are a thinner gauge wire, it is very easy to have it harden, so try not to over hammer. So I'm adjusting a little bit and this looks good. I'm very happy with the result. Just remember, don't worry to mess it up. Developing dexterity is not an overnight process. Therefore, give your muscles the opportunity to learn the technique, and over time, you will become highly proficient at it. Okay, we will now make the last pair of hoop threader earrings, the extra large heart threader hoops. I'm using rose Goldfilled 18 gauge wire in 17 centimeter of length. To shave off the edge, I'm using a power tool this time with cup burr bits. I think this is in 2 millimeter in diameter. And now I'm marking exactly in the middle with Sharpie, which is 8.5 centimeter, so that then I can bend it forward against the curve using flat nose pliers, just like this. Now I take the ring bender pliers and I will fork a half round to make a heart. Very slowly, be careful. I'm very slowly and I'm sort of massaging this wire to get to the shape I want. As you can see that I'm struggling a little bit to make a perfect size. Apparently there is this slight flat on the circle of the plier, so the heart shape have an unwanted jagged curve. So I'm ditching the pliers and use the mandrel instead because I need the perfect diameter to fix this curve. I hammer it gently with the wooden mallet so it won't leave any marking. Goldfilled is one of the most sensitive materials. I have to tell you, this is a very stubborn heart. The inner part is quite clumsy. I'm going back and forth fixing the shape with mandrel and flat nose pliers. This step is the most essential step, so I'm taking my time explaining what happened and what will happen one day to you when you start making your own. Next, I'm going to fork my second heart. I'm learning my lesson. This time I will fork it directly using the mandrel, beginning with the largest diameter and gradually progressing to the small diameter. And along the way, I will make adjustments to the shape using the flat nose pliers. At least this will give me a smoother curve. Since you have seen how it's made, I'm going to fast forward through the process. If you have any question, please let me know on the comment below. You know, jewelry making is like driving. You never will understand the entirety of the process if you don't try it for yourself. I'm still hung up on the first heart. I still cannot be satisfied with the curve, so I am mounting the mandrel on the bench and try to smoothen the jagged edge. I pay attention to only use a rawhide mallet just to make sure that my rose gold filled will still be shiny after all this excessive hammering. Right now, we are move on to the second to the last step of the process. I love adding texture to my hoop earrings. In fact, this is the only option I have for my client. So here I am hammering the hoops to give a texture at the same time to harden the wire. I'm using the frets hammer and I strike moderately. And I'm using my two fingers closer to the anvil to hold the shape and to avoid it to contort back too much. And then to harden it completely, I am using a rawhide mallet. To ensure that this wire is fully hardened, I'm assessing it by pulling the wire against one another, and if it rebounds like rubber, then I can confirm that it is prepared and it's done. So here it is, the old heart that is bigger but thinner. It has 2.3 inches in diameter, while the new version it has a little over 2 inches in diameter. I think I'm really liking the newer version of this extra large hoops. Please share your preference by leaving a comment below. Now let's have fun and try these on.
Okay, let's try it out. First, we have made the snail shape. This is the old design, and I'm upgrading it with a smaller one, but thicker. Easy to put on. So pretty. I really like it compared to the old one, which is here. It looks wonky and maybe it can, I don't know. Okay, I want you to vote. Which one is it? The one bigger or the upgraded version? Okay, next, the star. I just made it in a different material. This is the rose Goldfilled and this is the sterling silver. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put it on and then I'll show you how it looks like. Okay, it's here. So I have it, the star, silver star, which is very cute, super cute. And this is the rose gold filled, rose gold filled. Pretty. I think I really prefer the silver one. I don't know. Alright. Okay, next is the heart one. I made it in the rose gold filled with 18 gauge of wire. So this is the upgraded version of the bigger one. I have been having this for a while, a long time ago in my Etsy store. They're really big, but I think that it's too big, and there is a client who has complained that it is a little bit thin, and I kind of agree with it. So I took it down. I don't want to sell it anymore, but I feel like with this new and renewed style, thicker, I think I can put it back up again. Alright, I'm gonna try it on now. It's quite easy to thread. So pretty. I love it. So pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna try it on. Anyway, the silver one, I know that even if it's discontinued, why not? Just for fun. So which one do you prefer? This concludes the series of the threader earrings. Feel free to share your experience and the outcome. If you decided to make one, I'm interested to know about this. For you who would like to learn about jewelry making, the next tutorial that I would recommend is to make oval hoops. There should be a link on the screen somewhere. Thank you for watching. Like and follow my channel for more content. Goodbye. This is the second part. Wait, is this lunchtime yet? Oh boy.